dear children. Welcome you all to another session of Amazing World of Science, a one-stop place to learn NCERT line to line for classes 9, 10, 11 and 12. Mainly we are doing only science for 9 and 10 and chemistry for class 11 and class 12. So today we are going to conclude the third lessons from science class 10. We were doing metals and non-metals in our last class. So if you remember, we were talking about the extraction of metals and we have to now continue with the extracting metals towards the top of the activity series. We learnt about the metal extraction in the middle and lower part of the reactivity series. Now we will learn today how to extract metal from the top of the reactivity series. So as you all know, metals high up in the reactivity series, they are so reactive that it can be easily reduced, or we can obtain the metal from their compounds by heating with carbon. Okay, so for example, carbon, it cannot reduce the oxides of sodium, magnesium, calcium, aluminum, etc. to the respective metals. Why? Because these metals has got more affinity or more attraction towards oxygen than towards carbon. So these metals are mostly obtained by using electrolytic reduction, that is sodium, magnesium, calcium. These are obtained by electrolysis of molten chlorides, that is the compound, the chloride of the compound. That is, suppose if you want to extract sodium, means we use sodium chloride. For magnesium means we use magnesium, molten solution of magnesium chloride. So the metals will be deposited at the cathode. What is cathode? Negatively charged electrode, and chlorine will be liberated at the anode, or the positively charged electron. Now look at the reaction. What happens at the cathode? Sodium ion accepts one electron to becomes sodium atom, and at the anode chloride ion gets converted to chlorine atom. And also other metals belonging to this section can be extracted by using same electrolysis process. Now after doing the extraction, what you have to do, the next step, it is to do the refining of metals. See, we get the metals from various reduction process. These are not very pure, they contain impurities. You have to remove it to get pure metals. So for refining of metals, mainly we use electrolytic refining. So you can see the setup for electrolytic refining. This is done for copper, and electrolyte, it's a solution of copper sulfate, and anode is the impure copper, and the cathode is the strip of pure copper, and this is the tank, and impurities or anode matter is collected over here, and when passing electric current, pure copper is deposited at the cathode. Okay, so many metals like copper, zinc, tin, nickel, silver, gold, these are all electrolytically refined to finally purify it. And as I already said, the experimental setup, you can get pure metal by using this process, and the soluble impurities will go into the solution, whereas insoluble impurities will settle down at the bottom, and these impurities are known as anode, but as I before showed you in the diagram. Now we will see what is meant by corrosion. You all are familiar with the term corrosion. See, when you keep silver articles or many iron articles and all that in presence of air, it reacts with the oxygen in the atmosphere, and when silver articles are kept in air, you can see a black deposit after some time, because it reacts with sulfur in the air to form a coating of silver sulfide. So that is why silver articles become black, whereas copper reacts with carbon dioxide in the air, and it loses the brown surface and gains a green coat. This green coat substance is called copper carbonate. Remember the names and the name of the compound. And iron, when you expose it to air or moisture for a long time, it gets a coating of brown flaky substance, that is what we call rust. So this process is called corrosion. So the important topic here now would be, understood what is meant by corrosion. Now how can you prevent corrosion? So what are the methods to prevent corrosion. Now can you think of some process how to prevent corrosion? So easily one thing will come to your mind, that is the rusting of iron. You can see it is prevented by painting, oiling, putting grease, galvanizing, chrome plating, anodizing or making alloys. These are all the methods. Now galvanization, that is a method of protecting steel and iron from rusting. So you coat it with a thin layer of zinc. The galvanized article is protected against rusting even if zinc coating is broken. So just think why this is happening, because alloying is a good method of improving the properties of metals. You can get the desired property by mixing of any metals, like so many different alloys are there. Normally some metals, they are not mostly if they are alloyed, and then it won't get damaged. Suppose if you mix a small amount of carbon to iron, and what happens is that it becomes very strong. Then if you mix iron with nickel and chromium, we get stainless steel, that is very hard substance and it does not rust. Suppose in another case, if you mix iron with some other substance, the properties change. So what do you understand from all this, that you can change the property of any metal by mixing it with some other substances, and the substance which you add, it can be either a metal or a non-metal. And in short, what you can say about an alloy, what is an alloy? It is a homogeneous mixture of two or more metals, or a metal and non-metal. And first it is prepared by melting the primary metal and then dissolving the other elements in whatever desired proportions you wanted. Then it is cooled in room temperature. Now suppose if one of the metal is mercury, then the alloy is known as amalgam. Okay, and the electrical conductivity and melting point of an alloy is always less than that of pure metals. For instance, brass is what? It's an alloy of copper and zinc. Now for NEET and all that, they'll ask the question like what is brass, what are the contents, then you must remember the contents, what are present in it. And then bronze, that is an alloy of copper and tin, and these are all not good conductors of electricity, but copper is a good conductor because it's used for making electrical circuits. Then another alloy of lead and tin known as solder, it has got a lot of its low melting point is very low, and it's used for welding electrical wires together. And with that we have come to a conclusion of this third chapter, metals and non-metals, which is a very important chapter regarding when you go to 11th and 12th. You should have a very good base for this chapter. I hope children, you all revise this lesson by repeatedly watching these videos, and I am again telling you that I am very happy to see many comments are coming recently from many children who are finding these videos extremely useful, and I welcome all your comments and suggestions. And please do subscribe. Some of you have not subscribed, those who are watching the channel, do subscribe please and share with your friends. And thanks for watching the video. I will be coming up with another session at the earliest. Until then, bye and take care.